Please stand as our high school orchestra, under the direction of Ms. Kate Mercadante, performs our national anthem. Good evening, and it is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to the commemoration of the class of 2018. My name is Gary Wren, honored to be class president of this incredible group and delighted to be here tonight. Before we begin, I'd like to thank the school committee, Dr. Sawyer, our administration, class advisors, and most importantly, our friends and family for making this night one for reflection and celebration. To the class of 2018, let us treasure this moment as we sit merely 2 days away from saying goodbye to our home away from home. From nights spent studying, practices spent sweating, rehearsals spent perfecting, each and every one of you has contributed towards our school's community. To that, I applaud and say thank you for an unforgettable 4 years. Seniors, take it easy and enjoy a look back at our time spent in Shrewsbury as our time here soon comes to an end. Before I introduce our next speaker, please take a moment to silence all cellular devices so we may all enjoy this special night without interruptions. Beyond handling class dues, Charles King never fails to brighten my day with his warm, friendly smile. Working alongside him for the past 4 years has truly been a pleasure. Please join me in welcoming our class treasurer, Charles King, to the podium.
Okay. Thank you, Gary. It has been a pleasure working alongside you and the other officers. Good evening and welcome to the class of 2018's commemoration. To my classmates, we've made it to commemoration. After many sleepless nights and countless reworks later, we should all be proud of ourselves and of each other. To be completely honest, I didn't think I would make it this far. I mean, surviving high school is no easy feat. The midterms and finals that we've survived over the past 4 years, tests, and the weeks without the taco salad bowl were rough. But because nearly every person in the town of Shrewsbury is watching, I have roughly about 5 minutes to present you with a good welcoming address instead of talking about the amazing taco salad bowl. To celebrate the achievements of Class of 2018, I'm going to talk about the fourth dimension, time. Clocks are just one example of the physical representation of time. Did you know that a simple mechanical wristwatch can contain around 130 components, and some watches have close to 1,000 components? The cogs and the mainspring work together to provide movement to the hands of the watch. You know what else is amazing? The average SHS student needs about roughly 64 ounces of coffee to stay awake at 7:30 in the morning. Thanks, Dunkin' Donuts. Throughout the year, we often wanted to turn back time to finish essays, projects, and study guides instead of scrambling to do work on a Sunday night. In the same way a clock counts time, many of us counted on each other as musicians and actors in concerts or musicals. Some nights, I would count on Dr. Sawyer to pull through and make the call for a snow day because I didn't start an essay that was due the next day. Dr. Sawyer, you don't know how many times I woke up in the middle of the night waiting for that phone call. Sometimes a minute feels like a century, like when you're trying to score a goal in the hockey state championship, and a few seconds can make all the difference in speech and debate. SHS has dozens of sports and clubs that represent our different passions. The thing I cherish most in high school is that everyone could fit in somewhere. Size, shape, gender, ethnicity, or anything in between could be unified by a single passion. Like the parts of a watch, students work together as a team to provide a cultural movement unique to Shrewsbury High School. During these past 4 years, there have been times of joy, and there have also been times of sadness. What I've learned throughout high school is that friends can help you through adversity, or they can take you on multiple adventures. Our time here at SHS is over. Whether that means freedoms or tears is up to you. However, our time as adults is about to begin. American humorist Sam Levinson once said, "Don't watch the clock. Do what it does. Keep going." Cherish these last few moments, bonded together as the class of 2018. Whatever you do after graduation, and wherever you go, just remember to treasure your fondest memories from high school, but to also look forward to a brighter future. Life is short. Make it count. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. My name is Jess Mixis, Class Marshal. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to our talented senior choir and string ensemble who will be performing "I Was Here" under the direction of Mr. Michael Lapamardo and accompanied by senior Sophie Chen.
Thank you, Mr. Lepomardo and seniors. Good evening, everyone. My name is Safa Zakaria, and I'm the secretary for the class. I'd like to introduce our guest speaker for tonight's ceremony. He joined Shrewsbury High School in 2014, just like the rest of the senior class. He's taught biology, chemistry, and environmental science, and so many of our classmates have had him as a teacher. His kindness, understanding, and humor are all traits of his that we'll remember for many years to come. It's with great honor that I introduce our faculty guest speaker, Mr. John Brocky.
Good evening. I'd first like to thank you for the honor of speaking before you tonight. The symbolism, the chance that the green class, chose an environmental science teacher to talk to you tonight, it's not lost on me. I have to share that I was floored when Jacob first asked me, just completely shocked. And that was supplanted by honor and then subsequently suspicion. I had Jacob for 3 years, and each of those classes I asked him to speak in front of an audience. Did you just one-up me? So I started reflecting on why you asked me to speak tonight. I sincerely doubt that it was the effectiveness of my instruction on stoichiometry. I don't think it had anything to do with me making you slap the desk for ATP. I seriously doubt it was the depth of our discussion on soils. Maybe not my sense of humor either. No, I think it was those other things that I was able to engage you with, those life talks. So now I have the opportunity to share with you one last Brock talk. Tonight's topic is people. Because as we commemorate your successes at this point in your life, it is important that you think back to the people that influenced you. In that light, I would like to reflect back and share a few people that influenced me and made me the educator I am. The first, Sergeant Major Peter Gould, was my sergeant major during my ROTC at Florida Tech. I need you to picture this man. A grizzled Special Forces operator, haircut a little bit too long for the military, 80s era mustache, missing part of a finger, slight smirk, supremely confident. He was a former sniper and Special Forces ski instructor out of 10th Special Forces at Fort Carson, Colorado. Used to training elite soldiers, he was tasked with training 80 cadets. Some operators might lament this transition in their career. Not Sergeant Major Gould. He embraced it. He wanted to make sure that the lieutenants that he trained were not lost in the sauce. Patient yet demanding, he instilled confidence in basic military skills. I'll be honest, he wasn't the best educator. I doubt he knew what pedagogy was. Had no clue about lesson planning. Had some college credits, but no degree. He made up for it with his enthusiasm and his unrelenting standards. Firm in his tone, yet supportive in his actions, Sergeant Major Gould embodied the professional soldier. His methodology has stuck with me. Be passionate. Set high standards. Help people to achieve them. Perhaps my favorite memory of Sergeant Major Gould, and the thing that captures his expectations for us the best, was at the end of every lesson, he said to us, "Go forth, do great things." The second person I'd like to discuss with you tonight was Miss Kier Hearst, my AP US history teacher. I hated Miss Hearst. She made me do so much work. I actually had to read the chapters. Homework was relentless, and she was unimpressed no matter how hard I tried on the packets. The nerve that she had giving me a C that first quarter. You guys have to understand, this was the first time that I actually had to try at school. And while I begrudged her through that first quarter, things started to click second quarter. I had developed good working habits. I focused on my studies before video games. I was able to make that change. I struggled to get A's and B's, striving as hard as I could in that class. And I started ever so slightly, ever so slowly, to like her. Oh, she was a taskmaster. She knew her stuff. She would not stand for anything less than my best, and by the end of my junior year, Miss Hearst was my favorite teacher. I asked to be her TA during my senior year. She was the one teacher that taught me more than any other, the one who got me to work harder than any other teacher had ever done before. If this sounds familiar to you, I base my philosophy of education on Miss Hearst's class. Set high standards, be passionate, help students realize what they can achieve if they truly try. The last person I would like to talk to you about tonight is you. You're the whole reason we're here today. I look out into this crowd, and I see the agents of change that will help to resolve the issues we have in our society and to propel this country forward. In this crowd are environmental engineers who are going to develop remediation methods and carbon capture technology that we can't currently fathom. Policymakers that will help rewrite and revise our laws to ensure that all Americans are guaranteed the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Law enforcement officers who stand up to injustice and show compassion to their communities. Business owners who get that the bottom line is not the sole measure of success. Doctors that will pioneer new treatment protocols, and future Sergeant Major Goulds that will train their cadets to be the very best leaders that they can be. The beauty in this life is that no matter what path you choose, you get to define your success. Let me share with you that teaching is not the most fiscally lucrative career option. It makes up for it in other ways. We define our success through your success. So as you seek your path, find a calling, find a passion, be compassionate, find joy. Let us not be naive, though. Life is going to present you some hurdles. Some of those hurdles are going to be taller than you think you are capable of getting over. Some of them are going to knock you down. Some of them might even scar you. Don't give up. Work your hardest to get over those hurdles. And wear the scars to remember those times that life did not go your way. I have my own scars that influence who I've become, and I want to discuss one of those failures with you. Because understanding your failure, learning from it, allows you to adapt and to find success. I did not go into college thinking to be an educator. Rather, I was going to be a career Army officer. My presence here should tell you how that went. 2 trips to Ranger School, 2 broken feet, 2 medical drops. Had I gotten that Ranger tab, my path might have been different. So why do I share this failure? The path that you think you're on may not be the path that you ultimately take. It does not preclude you from finding success. Had I not had those injuries, I might still be in the Army today, and I would never have realized how rewarding teaching is. I would not have found my true calling. Just because something doesn't work out the way you want doesn't mean you give up. Merely take the thing and learn from it. It's only when we fail to learn that we truly lose. Back to the subject at hand, you. I have homework for you. It's not posted on Schoology. There's no due date. This assignment, though, is critical. It is a return on investment. There are a host of people who have supported you, guided you, and helped you become who you are. As you commemorate your success to this point, reflect on and acknowledge those people that influenced you. As you continue to find success, whether it is 10 years from now or 20 years from now, I want you to write to those people. Write to your Mrs. Hearst. She's a principal in Japan now, by the way. Write to your Sergeant Major Gould. He dabbles in woodwork up in Vermont. Let them know what their class, what their influence meant. Share with them your hurdles, your scars, and your victories. Those letters and emails and texts are the payment for services rendered, and their value can't be calculated in dollars and cents. So Emily, when you're writing your thesis defense, I want a copy. Jacob, when you get elected, I expect a letter from you. Rhea, when you publish your first research paper, I want a copy. And Taylor, when you get that DVM, I want an invite. I wish I had time to name each and every one of you that have touched my life, that have crossed my path, and influenced who I am as an educator, but our time is short. I believe I've used the time available to me, and so I leave with one laconic thought. Go forth, do great things.
Thank you, Mr. Brocky, for such a meaningful speech. Our years at Shrewsbury High School would be anything less than memorable if they weren't guided by our assistant principal, Mr. O'Connell. Not only did he teach us how to act respectfully as high school students, he always reminded us of our true capabilities. He's someone who always recognized the full potential of our class and has always told us about how opportunities will often find their way to you, but it's up to you to take them. Mr. O'Connell, thank you for teaching us the importance of believing in yourself and seizing opportunity wherever it finds us. I know I speak on behalf of everyone when I say that venturing into the real world seems a little less scary with your guidance and support in our back pocket. Please welcome our great administrator, Mr. P.J. O'Connell.
Good evening and welcome. It's really difficult to follow just a great performance and a great speech and words which we should all take to heart. Mr. Brocky, he was fantastic, wasn't he? Yeah, really well done. John, it's one of the best I've heard, and I'm thankful to be here tonight, to be your great administrator, and I'm thankful that you have entrusted me with your sons and your daughters. I know at freshman orientation, we talked about that and we said, just trust us. And I know that's also not easy to do. Tonight, I want to talk to you about the idea of gratitude. Dr. Sawyer, he sends out a letter to all staff, a welcome back letter. And this year, he asked us to focus on the idea of gratitude. It's something that really struck me because in my role, I always think, there's a lot of things that I experience. Some of them are fantastic, like tonight. Many times they're not. And it's hard to put on a smiling face if you're not often thinking about the things we're lucky for. So, in thinking about tonight's speech and reflecting about your class and your experience over the last 4 years, I had to think about how to approach something different rather than just standing up here and speaking to you for the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. So I surveyed all the students in the class of 2018 and I asked them to tell me what they're grateful for over the last 4 years. So really what I want to do is this. I want to borrow from tonight's show and Jimmy Fallon and do a little skit with thank you notes. So I'm going to need some help. Will Stavich, can you help? Can you help us with this? Yeah, Will. Please welcome Will Stavich to the stage.
Hi. My name is Will Stavich. For those of you up there, you might recognize me from a few minutes ago when I was singing on stage and then awkwardly walked off. And for those of you down here, you might recognize me from the 4 years of high school we did together. Like Mr. O'Connell said, we have some thank you notes that we'd like to write, completely ripping off a bit from Fallon. In the typical thank you notes fashion, I'm gonna need some thank you note music, so if there's anyone who happens to play piano, maybe sitting in this general area right over here, specifically Mr. Michael Lapamardo, give him a hand. The thank you notes music man. What a beautiful, beautiful man you are. And as well as these thank you notes that I am going to write, we have, like Mr. O'Connell said, some things that you guys wrote in this poll that we put out, and I'll be reading those as well intermittently. So, I have my pen clicked, and if Mr. Lapamardo is ready, I'll start writing some thank you notes. Thank you very much. Thank you, lunch, for the taco salad, the mashed potato bowl, and for definitely, totally having enough chairs to accommodate every student. Maybe not that last part.
Geez, well, I know the school's growing in population, but I got to tell you what I'm thankful for, that the era of bottle flipping is officially over.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I flipped a few bottles.
Right?
Yeah, that's worthy of a round of applause.
You're not freshmen anymore.
All right. I flipped a few bottles myself, caused a few spills, but we'll just gloss over that. So put that right in there. And now we have one of the letters that was written by one of the great students at SHS that we picked out of the poll. Maybe you'll recognize it as your own writing. Maybe you won't because you forgot what you wrote. But this is what it says. Thank you to the C Wing. It has always been like a second home, and I know I'm not the only one who feels this way.
I know you've spent a lot of time in the C Wing, and I know in speaking with you, you feel that way. And I'm thankful that so many of you have had that experience. But I also know that it's been in athletics, it's been in speech and debate, it's been in robotics, it's been in art, and it's been in the many clubs and activities you've been a part of. We really are fortunate to have so many talented students and staff.
I agree. I think that the SHS student body is fantastic, and I feel like there's a lot of opportunities for us to, really feel like part of a family. I agree wholeheartedly. Let's get back to the jokes. So I'm a pen clicked. Thank you, Epic Games, for giving high school boys something to do when they're bored.
Games, Will?
Yeah, you play Fortnite?
We're going to talk about Fortnite here?
Yeah, we're talking about Fortnite. I play Fortnite. I know a lot of people out there play Fortnite. You might be a little old to understand that, but I'm just saying.
Ouch.
Yeah,
How about a little 1v1, Tilted Towers, me and you?
Oh, wow, you have called my bluff. I'm terrible at Fortnite. We got another one of the letters that was written by you guys. I will read that for you like the bit goes. I am thankful for the dedication of teachers, coaches, and volunteers that have enhanced my high school experience over the last 4 years. From track to robotics, none of this would have been possible without their commitment to bettering our futures.
So many people wrote about that experience and that they were thankful for that. Certainly, it takes a level of commitment and sacrifice in education, and we're really fortunate to have an outstanding staff. But I also think this is really an opportune time to thank and recognize those seniors who are going to spend in this upcoming year time in service and going into the military. For those people who are going in the military, can you please stand? Please stand. Yeah. I know I speak for everyone here that we genuinely appreciate your service, and thank you for that sacrifice.
Alrighty. Once again, we'll get back to the thank you notes if we're ready for that, unless you had something else to
Absolutely.
say. No, all
What
right.
do you got for us?
I'll got one here. Thank you, Mr. Superintendent, for giving us like 6 snow days this year. Who are you and what have you done with Joe Sawyer? I'm just saying, I appreciate it, but like, what are you, a robot? Are you from the future? Are you a lizard man? I bet you're a lizard man.
Everyone loves a good snow day. Everyone.
I sure do. I'm just saying, I don't trust you, lizard man. I've got another one of these letters that you guys wrote. This one's pretty special. I am definitely most thankful for the people I had at SHS. This sounds cheesy and melodramatic, but I experienced a lot of discrimination in previous communities that I've been a part of. SHS was different. The friends that I have made are people that I truly care about, and the teachers that I have come to know and talk to are some of the people I trust the most. I am thankful for having gotten to know these people and having been able to experience such a pivotal part of my life with them. These 4 years taught me about myself, the things I want, and the future I want. But also people, how to communicate and collaborate. These experiences are something I wouldn't change for the world.
That was such a special note when I was reading through all of them, and it's one of the reasons why we selected that, because really we hope that all graduates have a similar feeling. But I'll say this, I think one major group is left off of that, and I know without hesitation, I speak for everyone down below here, that all of this wouldn't be possible without your parents and your family. And I thank you to all of you, really.
I agree, yeah, my parents are in the audience tonight, hopefully. So thank you, Bill and Kristen. Yeah.
Well, we did just get them those tickets a couple hours
did.
ago.
I was the last person to get my tickets, literally. So if we're ready to move on, I have one more thank you note in my own to write, and this one is pretty important to me, and I think it's pretty important to the general populace of the class of 2018. So if we're ready over here, are we ready? Good, all right. Thank you, people at the town meetings, for never giving up your fight to legalize Heelys. That's right.
Yeah. You know, for parents who don't know what Heelys are, those things you put at the bottom of your shoe, they're like a little wheel, and you roll around on them.
That's right, they are. Yes.
Yeah. Will, the only thing that was spinning at SHS during your time are fidget spinners.
Now, this could have been the moment where we finally address Heelys, Mr. O'Connell. This could have been the final time.
I guess it's come and gone.
I guess. And this note is very special. This is a very special one from someone out here in the SHS community. I am thankful for all the I am thankful for the community and all of the amazing people that are in it. When I was going through cancer last year, people were holding fundraisers, selling wristbands, holding green games, and helping me and my family out in a way I could not explain. Me and my family would not be in the place they are today without the amazing people that are in this community, and I owe the world to them for their love and support.
You know, Jan, we're so thankful that you're here and that you're cancer-free. We're so thankful. It's great. I'll say this, you embody the strength, faith, and spirit that we all wish to have, and the way our community rallied in that time really says so much about where we live and where we come from and what we're all about. And thank you for your strength, and thank you for writing that note and allowing me to share it tonight. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming up. Thanks
Thank
for your
you.
help, your wit, and the money you paid me for
Yeah,
allowing you to come up here on stage. Just kidding about that last part.
It was
How about
too
Will,
much
Will
money.
Stavich? Will Stavich, everyone. You know, when I think about your class and I think of what you've accomplished over the last 4 years and what you've experienced, I also think about what you've experienced outside of the walls of SHS. More now than ever, we're exposed to news stories that solicit ranges of emotions. And you're not immune to that. During your time, you've experienced tension overseas. The Patriots winning the Super Bowl. Tension with our own nation, a divide between political parties. You've seen the Patriots win the Super Bowl again. You've experienced the Me Too movement, Black Lives Matter, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, which was originated in Massachusetts and became a national movement. The Patriots making it to a third Super Bowl, but unfortunately losing to the Eagles. You observed natural disasters that impacted people that you care about. And as we watched our fellow man suffer great plight. You've experienced gun control debates and school violence, things that no student in high school or school child should ever experience. You live in a world of extreme viewpoints and everything needing a label. We live in a polarized world, and you're bombarded with social media rants that alter our thought and our opinions. But I'm incredibly proud of you. At first, I wasn't sure about the March for Our Lives and the Never Again movement and what the walkout was going to look like. I really wasn't sure. And I know just by saying some of those topics, for students and for parents alike, it hits a chord. It reaches us to a core for varied reasons. But during that March for Our Lives and that walkout, I observed you listening to one another because you yourselves had varied opinions and thoughts on how to approach it. You listened carefully, you were thoughtful in your approach, and you respected the opinions of others. Your ability to listen to those opposing views and work to meet one another in the middle is an example for all to follow. You're often surrounded by negative news stories in the media, especially ones that touch us. That's why the speech is about gratitude. And be sure to take time to be thankful for the things that you have in your world. I'm thankful for some of the things that you've accomplished, like the Colonial Way experience, the first ever Colonial Way experience, which was outstanding this past fall. Your ability to raise $5,000 for the Hurricane Harvey relief effort. You created a culture of inclusivity at SHS where everyone feels welcome. You've won hockey state championships. Your crew team has been to the Nationals and won a state championship. You're record holders in track and field. Our robotics team qualified for Nationals and won the Chairman's Award, which for those in those circles is a prestigious award. We're speech and debate state champions. We're Tammy Award winners. You took part in the musical, and we just celebrated 50 years of outstanding musicals. Your National Merit finalists, your Boston Globe Scholastic Art Award winners, and you make up what is one of the greatest high schools in the country as identified by U.S. News. That's special, and that's all of you. You're a group of students and young people who are an inspiration to others. And I'm inspired by your work and your community service. for which over the last 4 years, you almost tallied 16,000 hours of service to others. But in a few short days, you'll graduate from Shrewsbury High School and move on with your life. You'll be thrown into the fire, so to speak, but I have complete faith that you'll make this world a better place than the way you found it. As your people who are of tremendous strength and talent, and you provide all of us hope for a better tomorrow based on what you've done. With that being said, I have a special surprise for you tonight. I ask that you help me in welcoming your very own Class of 2018 senior, John Barrett, as he plays for you a Bruce Springsteen song entitled Into the Fire. Please welcome John Barrett. Thank you, John. That was fantastic. Really was. John is a true talent. And although I brought both John and Will up to the stage, they represent so many talents in the class of 2018. I asked John to play that song because I genuinely believe in the idea of strength, faith, hope, and love. May you all be people of faith, whatever form that takes for you. Have faith that hard work eventually pays off. Have faith in your fellow man. Have faith that you will overcome hard times and any obstacle in your way. Be people of strength and work to build strength of mind, body, and soul. There'll be times when you will not be strong. It happens to all of us. That's when you'll have to rely on the strength of your close family and friends to help you through. Be people of hope. Continue to be people of progression, for it is continued progress in all aspects of life that give us hope. Continue to hope for and work on building a better tomorrow. But the greatest of all these things is love. May you love the work that you do, but more importantly, may you continue to surround yourself with people who make you want to be a better son, daughter, brother, sister, future husband, future wife, co-worker, and person. The concept of faith, strength, hope, and love is to be given and received. And I'm confident that if you have these things in your daily life, you'll have a great deal to be thankful for. Class of 2018, thank you. You have given me these things, and I love you for it. I wish you the best, and I look forward to seeing what this world brings you. Thank you.
Now, it's time for the class history, a review of all the events that have passed since we started SHS back in 2014. You know, a lot has happened since then. Let's take it from the beginning.
Freshman year. In late August of 2014, 400 middle schoolers became high school freshmen as they walked into an airport. I mean, Shrewsbury High School. From there, students were introduced to their homerooms and their MVPs.
Hi guys, welcome to homeroom. This is your schedule and this is what lunch you're going to. I highly recommend the French fries with honey mustard, but not the potato wedges. Oh, I almost forgot. Here are your super fan shirts. From now on, you bleed blue and gold.
The day that we had all dreaded finally arrived. The first day of high school.
We were nervous, excited,
And stressed for our first day. Take Gary, for example. We're still not sure how he managed to be stressed on the first day of freshman year.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, Abanov, did you finish reading The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime?
Yeah, I read the book twice.
What? You read it twice?
Yeah. And also, what's your GPA?
My what?
Ah, yes, the dreaded GPA or grade point average. The three numbers that high school seemingly boiled down to. The question Abanov asked is one we would hear throughout our high school career again.
and again.
And again.
and again.
Meanwhile, Jacob's first day was consumed with a different kind of stress. He was busy trying to get up to the swimming pool on the 4th floor.
In September, we would learn about
Letter grades.
Running to lunch to get a table.
Seniors with beards.
And getting up before the sun does, and that there wasn't actually a pool on the 4th floor. Even though we had entered high school back in September, we weren't truly high schoolers until our first homecoming dance.
See, I was under the impression that the homecoming dance was sort of formal.
No. It was actually quite the opposite.
it was after our first Fall Spirit Day. What a memorable Friday.
Speaking of the Spirit Rally, we were assigned Shake It Off as our first lipped-up song. Our dream of living the life of Zac Efron from High School Musical and singing was suddenly becoming true.
Wait. Do you guys remember all the lift-up meetings that we held after school?
Neither do we.
Or when we tried to film it during homeroom and it was oh so successful.
I think the only thing we learned from that is that Jacob isn't very good at riding a scooter.
You know, Jacob, at least you learned how to maneuver through the crowded hallways.
Crowded hallways? Tell me about it.
Sophomore year, also known as the sophomore slump.
Classes are already so hard. We're only sophomores. Just imagine how hard the junior year classes will be.
But despite the hate for sophomore year, there were some classes that made the year a little better than we thought it would be.
Remember when we started learning about U.S. history?
Or learning that Mr. Brocky was a scary man.
Jacob, how could you say that? Bio was the best, especially with Mr. Brock.
Just kidding, Mr. Brocky. We love you.
Let's focus on some of the other parts of sophomore year. The speech and debate team were state champions, and remember Semi?
Ah, yes. Night in Paris. It was beautiful. There were string lights draped across the ceiling of the commons.
And for the first time, teachers and administration alike weren't blinded by grinding.
The only grind that the class of 2018 knew of was the grind for that PSAT scholarship.
Wait, Charles, you actually studied for the PSATs?
You didn't? Jacob, you know I can't say no with admin and my parents in the crowd.
Yeah, studying for the PSETs really drove me insane.
Oh, yeah. Driving?
12 road lessons.
And 6 observation hours.
30 permit test questions.
And failing my first road test.
See, instead of taking the bus, we now had the freedom of going wherever we wanted.
A beautiful aspect of sophomore year, and one that definitely filled our summer with new experiences.
Junior year.
Do you guys see that? That red glow out in the distance? Oh no!
Gary, what is it?
It's the red down arrow from Power School. Everyone's grades are going down.
Junior year. People told us that it wasn't horrible. Well, boy, were they wrong.
There were so many tough classes. Physics, chemistry, pre-calc.
Despite junior year being tough, there were always things that lifted our spirits.
Like the unified basketball games and musicals like Urinetown.
The struggle was real, and everyone was stressed with their courses.
Fortunately, through all of the stress, the football team was able to make it to the state championship.
And the boys hockey team went to the TD Garden and won the state championship.
That's true. Like our sports teams, there were a lot of good things that happened junior year.
Like our first prom at the Sheraton.
We swapped our sweatpants for sports coats.
And Heelys for heels.
Even though it was raining, we were all still slaying the game.
The food was really good too. That is, until they ran out of bread rolls.
But don't forget about all those ceremonies we had as we are inducted into different honor societies. From Trium Music to English and History, our grade would prove to be a force when we volunteered for hundreds of hours of community service.
Girls and boys tennis both served up a swinging season.
The track team broke record after record.
And the speech team killed it at states.
Junior year ended on a high note.
But nothing could prepare us for the events in store for us during
Senior year.
Here, welcome to the real world. You're going to college next year, and don't forget about the loans and the tuition fees. Are your grades in top shape? Ready to put that Naviance password to use for once?
Gary was stressed, but what else is new?
See, everyone thought that senior year would be a breeze. At the beginning of the year, we came to find out that every single person who said that was wrong.
Not only did we have to juggle difficult classes, leadership positions, and extracurricular commitments, we also had to apply to college, the military, and start looking for jobs.
Getting senior pictures taken was such a hassle. We had to spend a beautiful summer day inside.
I absolutely hate getting my picture taken, but it meant that high school was finally coming to a close.
I completely agree. Putting on the cap and gown for the first time was unreal.
Driving to school on the very first day of senior year felt like we had never left in the first place.
And right off the bat, senior entrance practices began, which were hard to coordinate. Nonetheless, we couldn't have done it without the help of you guys.
But the best part was after our final senior entrance practice, when we all ran around the high school decorating. The entire school campus was shreked in green.
The next morning, we all returned back to the school bright and early for the senior tailgate.
It was such a great time. It really brought our class together.
Even though we were all crazy for being at school before 6 a.m.
With 400 donuts donated from Dunkin's for all of us to share.
Oh, and how could we forget about all the grills that were fired up in the back of the pickup trucks?
The very next day, we all came together again at the senior cookout. The cookout was delicious.
And we all received our senior shirts and proudly wore them to the football game after.
Also, superlatives were announced that day.
And we all learned there's a reason Gary didn't win Most Musical when he started singing our lip dub song, September, by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
But I'm still waiting to find out who the biggest procrastinator is.
We'll find that out tomorrow.
Do you hear that?
Do I hear what?
Listen.
Hello, this is Joe Sawyer, the superintendent of Shrewsbury Public Schools, calling to inform you that all Shrewsbury Public Schools are closed today. Again, all Shrewsbury Public Schools today are closed due to the inclement weather conditions. Thank you.
Wow, that is music to my ears. I so needed this day off.
More time to study.
I heard it's gonna keep snowing through the night.
Do you think we'll get 2 snow days in a row?
Of course not, Jacob.
The next day,
Ring, ring, ring. I love the snow, 4-day weekend.
6 snow days. I didn't think that we were going to get any at all.
in addition, senior year was yet another great year for all sports. But it was even better with the class of 2018 leading the way.
In the fall, from cross country to field hockey, we dominated.
The winter sports had huge successes too. The girls' ice hockey team got moved from Division III to Division I and had an incredible season.
The boys' hockey team also had an amazing season. They finished it all up and took the repeat at the Garden.
Double rings!
Our robotics team, 467, made us proud as they repped that blue and gold in Detroit.
There have been numerous successes in the class of 2018.
2 days from now, on May 31st, all of this becomes history.
Every speech tournament,
Sporting event,
Competition,
And concert.
It's all in the past.
while it was an emotional roller coaster, we are all ready for new challenges and adventures.
None of this would have been possible if it weren't for all of you.
Class of 2018, thank you.
Now, we would like to invite Noah Jouer, Lindsay Candivan, and Tim Schwab to the stage as they introduce our class video.
Good evening, parents, students, and faculty. For those of you who don't know us, I'm Noah Jouer,
I'm Lindsay Canavan.
And I'm Tim Schwab.
and we are all seniors and part of the educational television studio at Shrewsbury High School.
After 4 years of TV production course at Shrewsbury High School, we've had some incredible experiences and made memories that we will be sure to share in the next chapter of our life.
We dedicated our last semester in the TV studio to creating a video that commemorates all of our years leading up to tonight. These pictures and videos symbolize the friendships and memories we have created that will last a lifetime.
We'd first like to start off by thanking our teacher, Miss Maggie Korab, for making these last 4 years possible. We'd also like to thank the man back there, Mr. Greg Marceau, for he definitely helped us keep the TV studio running over the past 4 years. And lastly, we'd like to thank all the ETS students who we're talking on behalf of today. So if you could stand and be recognized, we'd like to thank you very much for helping make the video.
Additionally, we'd like to give a huge shout out to the parents and students who submitted their pictures to be used in this year's video.
And without further ado, here's the class of 2018 senior video.
Congratulations to the class of 2018. I've watched you in class, I've seen you on the fields, and I've seen you on stage, and had an opportunity to say hi to you throughout the years in the hallway. You've brightened the halls of SHS, and I'm thankful to have had the opportunity to have been your great administrator. I wish you well, and I'm excited to see what the world brings each and every single one of you. Best wishes, and congratulations.
My favorite high school memory was after our final senior entrance practice when we all ran around the school decorating it. It was insane. We had huge balloon arches, and I talked to people that I've never talked to before. It was a great way to unite us for the rest of the school year. So thanks, 2018.
The road that raised me, try to make it last. The walks that saved me, relive all the times I had to.
One of my favorite memories in high school is when I was in the class America and the World Today. It was a semester elective, and the kids were really great in the class, and the teacher was super fun. And I ended up predicting her engagement. That was pretty cool.
I gotta think about it. For me, it would probably be running during the senior entrance, because having the entire class together just run into the center and really showing Shrewsbury High School what we're made of, that is a moment that I will remember forever. It was just such an epic moment, so much hype. It just brought a lot of energy to the class, and I love that.
I can't go through the deal with the devil. Life isn't fair, it isn't level.
My advice is, before you try to change the world, look at your own life and see how you can make your own life better. Be the best person that you can be.
Slipping down the drain, my childhood just fades away. Memories come and go, they leave for me some.
My favorite thing about the senior class is the positivity and energy that they bring to every class.
I contemplate where my life will go. You might relate to the hopeless hope of my dreams fading. I still tell myself.
Interesting memory that I've had was that I almost ran over Mrs. Pryor.
At the end of the path, just in case I can't go through the deal with the devil. Life isn't fair, it isn't level. Whoa, whoa.
I'd like to wish the class of 2018 all the best in their future endeavors. It's been a pleasure getting to know you and watch you all develop into the terrific young adults that you are. Best wishes always. Love, Mrs. Johnson.
The banner that I think that reflects our class the most is the To Infinity and Beyond banner from Toy Story. I think that reflects our class the most because it's very positive, has good vibes, and Buzz Lightyear. I'm like, come on.
They leave for me some room to grow. Somewhere down the line, I know for sure that I'll be fine. Look back on.
Congratulations to the class of 2018. It has been a pleasure getting to know you over the past 4 years. I can't believe how fast these years have gone by. I wish you nothing but the best. Remember, there will be some roadblocks in your life, but get back up, move on, and may all your dreams come true.
To get myself together, owning these people may be what I am now. Was lost, but now I have been found. And I hate to see all of you go, but I want to let you all know you're going on to do great things. That's why I stand here and sing. Good luck to you and all your friends. That's all that matters in the end is slipping down the train. My childhood just fades away. Memories come and go. They leave for me some room to grow. Somewhere down the line, I know for sure that I'll be fine. Look back on everything and on my face I'll feel a grin.
Members of class of 2018, congratulations, you're almost there. A couple more days and you'll be walking across the stage. Super exciting, super happy. My message to you is this, Shrewsbury is not going to slide into Lake Quinsigamon. It's going to be here in 5 years, it's going to be in 10 years. So go out, see the world, experience everything you can, and you'll always have a home here in Shrewsbury.
almost there. There we are. Thank you, Noah, Lindsay, and Tim for putting so much time and effort into such a thoughtful video. We appreciate all of your hard work and dedication. Our past 4 years at SHS have been critical in shaping us into the people we are today. We have learned so much within those walls, and we will carry those lessons with us wherever we go. While there is no gift that we could ever give back to the high school that would fully express our gratitude, we hope the future students and staff of Shrewsbury High School will accept and find use for this token of our appreciation. I would like to present Mr. Todd Bizidlo with a donation to support future social and emotional programming on behalf of the class of 2018.
Hello, class of 2018. We are editors from the yearbook committee, and we're here to introduce this year's yearbook. Our main goal each year is to capture the life and energy at the school, preserving the people and the memories. In doing so, we strive to incorporate notable positive qualities of the community into the book. This year, we chose to focus on the spirit of SHS with the theme Bleeding Blue and Gold.
By spirit, we refer to the students' commitment to school events, as well as to the virtues and principles shared by each and every individual at SHS. And I'm happy to say that we did not intentionally misspell anyone's name. We have been pretty lucky to have had a class of such kind individuals who consistently practice respect, tolerance, and responsibility.
Although we may not all be friends with one another, and there may be some students sitting here who you've never even had a conversation with, we're confident in saying that the people with whom you've interacted have expressed the qualities which make up the warm, welcoming environment of our school.
We would like to thank everyone who contributed to and made possible this yearbook. Thanks to all the teachers, students, and parents who sent us pictures. Thanks to all of the students who helped on the committee to take on the workload. And finally, thanks to Mrs. Pam LeBlanc and Mrs. Lisa Trombley, the yearbook advisors, for their work, dedication, and guidance.
As a new addition to this year's book, we decided to include a dedication page. We chose to honor our wonderful nurses, Mrs. Pam Johnson and Mrs. Brenda Fillier. Every day they work tirelessly to ensure the well-being of everyone in the school, and we thought it only fitting to recognize them in the yearbook. We want them to know just how much we appreciate everything that they do for the individuals at SHS. At this time, we would like Mrs. Johnson and Mrs. Fillier to please stand for a round of applause.
Also, at this time, we will now present the copies of the yearbook to Mr. John Polich, Dr. Joseph Sawyer, and Mr. Todd Bazildo. Please join us on stage.
After this week, we will all be going in different directions and living different lives. But one thing that we will always share is the fact that we are and always will be the only class of 2018 from SHS.
So, class of 2018, don't ever stop soaring to infinity and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick and Lauren. We genuinely appreciate all of your work. Next, we will be recognizing the 4 advisors who have supported our class and have helped guide the officers through these last 4 years. The amount of time and effort the advisors put into our fundraisers and school dances is immeasurable, and we cannot thank them enough. Everything that we have done together as a team could not have been done without them. The first advisor we will be recognizing tonight has helped me with dozens of Excel sheets, as well as helping me go through countless receipt books. Over the past 4 years, he has taught us that everything would work out in the end and that people deserve second chances. Without his guidance, I would certainly be blinded by the bright colors of the class due sheet and the smell of Sharpies. Your dedication to this class will not go unrecognized, and I will certainly miss your wisdom and calm words every time the officers were panicking. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Daniel Shaughnessy.
As both a guidance counselor and class advisor, I am pleased to introduce our next advisor, Mrs. Jamie Lucia. From her open and upbeat personality, she has been a familiar face when it comes to hard work and always helping others. As an integral part of all we have accomplished throughout the years, stories of her daughter Mia would always seem to brighten our meetings. Please join me in a warm round of applause for the wonderful Mrs. Lucia.
I'm pleased to introduce our third advisor, Senora Babigian. Leading Spanish National Honor Society, being a mom, teaching, and helping our class sounds impossible to manage, but Senora always manages to do so with grace and elegance. Senora Babigian was the only Spanish teacher I had during my time at SHS, but I was pleased to find that her welcoming and understanding persona followed her out of the classroom to all of our Thursday meetings. As secretary, a small aspect I've always envied about her was her beautiful handwriting. But as the years have gone on and I've gotten to know her better, I've realized that there's so much more that I admire about her. It's with great pleasure that I introduce this advisor and someone I've looked up to, Senora Babigian.
Last, but surely not least, it is my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Pam Johnson. Not only has Mrs. J helped us organize our events for the last 4 years, but her position as one of our fantastic nurses at SHS has allowed us to help countless students. She's written us dismissal slips when we needed it and helped us get through those tough days at school. I can say, after 4 years of getting to know her, I can go to her with any problem and walk away feeling better. Please welcome to the stage, Mrs. Johnson.
Next, we will be recognizing our amazing administration here at SHS. We would like to begin by thanking our principal, Mr. Todd Bezidlo. Mr. Bezidlo's great charisma and attitude reflects the optimistic personality everyone aspires to have. Over the past 4 years, he has been a great role model and guiding figure for every student here at SHS. He answers our questions as a professional, but he is also able to joke around with students and teachers alike. He has made SHS an environment where everyone can feel accepted, and we thank him for the lasting connections that he's made with the class of 2018. Thank you, Mr. Bezidlo.
We'd like to next thank Mr. Greg Nevada. From the good mornings we hear on our way into school every morning and the signatures we find on our posters, Mr. Nevada's mark can be seen throughout our school. As one who I often go to personally for questions about fundraisers, spirit rallies, or speech writing, his patience and insight are always appreciated. It's through this authenticity that I thank you for all you've done.
Mrs. Maureen Monopoly was the grade administrator for the senior class before us. However, that is not to say she was hands-off from our class. Mrs. Monopoly has shown her dedication through in and throughout, and she has never failed to be always open and understanding of students. Her hard work has inspired students to always give their best. Thank you, Mrs. Monopoly, for your dedication to our community.
Next, the class of 2018 would like to thank Mr. Jeff Lozad. Although he is new to the Shrewsbury High School community this year, he has assumed many important roles in the school as a grade administrator of the class of 2020, as a talented musician and trumpet player. Mr. Lozad has been a valuable addition to our school's administration. It has been a great pleasure getting to know you this year, Mr. Lozad. We wish you the best in years to come.
Last, but certainly not least, I'd like to thank Mr. P.J. O'Connell for guiding us through our high school years. As our grade administrator, your devotion to our class and support for students is something we will always appreciate and carry with us. Not only has Mr. O'Connell helped us blossom into adults, he's also been extremely understanding in helping the class achieve our goals. On behalf of the class of 2018, thank you for a wonderful 4 years, Mr. O'Connell.
Before we close tonight's ceremony, we would like to proceed by recognizing the future leaders of Shrewsbury High School in the passing of the torch. My fellow class officers and I will now briefly recognize each of the rising officers of the class of 2019 as we pass the torch to them and they begin their own final chapter. Knowing Heywan Weldai has been nothing short of a positive and pleasant experience. Her personable nature is one that is rightly admired by all those who know her. Whether it's conducting experiments in physics or jamming to songs in the car, there's no doubt in my mind that Heywan will lead with the same poise and passion next year. Please welcome next year's class president and my friend, Heywan Weldai.
Our next officer embodies positivity. She always wears a smile on her face, and I'm proud to hand off the torch to a person who smiles even more than me. Please welcome our next Vice President, Natalia Karademetriou.
This next officer is passionate in everything he does, whether it be math or basketball. I had the pleasure of watching him play tennis at an elite level, and I now have the pleasure to pass the torch to this future senior treasurer. Please give it up for Rahul Razdan.
As members of Speech and Debate, Ash and I often found ourselves chatting about the difficulties of balancing government and speech. However, getting to know her has made me realize how strong, focused, and hardworking she is. I have no doubt that her poise and professionalism will continue into her senior year as class secretary. Please give a warm round of applause for my good friend, Ash Gite.
And last, but certainly not least, the class marshal. This individual is extremely hardworking and always puts forth his very best effort. He is a student athlete and is a genuinely good person. Please give a warm welcome to the class marshal, Declan McSweeney.
Class of 2018. Tonight, we celebrated our long journey to our graduation. In just 2 more days, we're going to be walking across the stage, hopefully not tripping or messing up which hand does the handshake and which hand grabs the diploma, but we will be graduating. And as these days go on, the feeling really starts to sink in that our days at SHS are finally seeing a finish line. For some of us, this finish line is a savior, an end to a very long race. And for some, this finish line is just the starting line to another race, one that's even longer and tougher than the last. But tonight is dedicated to the memories, as a class and in high school in general. You know, the good times, the games won, the friends made, the people we've been around, the school musicals and plays, finally getting our licenses, and the long night drives with friends, the first paychecks, the first kisses, even if they didn't go as planned. But sometimes we were racing so fast to the next thing, whatever it is, that we forget to look back and admire the path laid behind us, the accomplishments we've left behind, the records set, memories made, and the friendships made too. In 2 days, our race to this finish line will come to an end. And when we cross that finish line, remember what Gary, what Safa, what Charles, what Jess, and what all of admin emphasized to you guys here today. Money can be earned, grades can be made up, and sleep deprivation can be made up too. But as we all look back at the time we spent as a class, but what can never be made up or recovered is time. And as we all look back at the time we spent together as a class and as teams and as friends, the class of 2018 can proudly look back and say we made a difference. It was our class that saw the hockey team win the state championship twice. It was our class that saw the robotics team make it to Worlds not once but twice. We saw musicals like Urinetown and All Shook Up win multiple Tammy Awards. And it was our class that saw our football team play at Gillette Stadium, our crew team to nationals, and our countless speech and debate awards. And it was our class that saw our student leaders, like our student council and SAC, inspire us to work harder and to incite change. The class of 2018 has made a difference. And when we cross that finish line, we're all going to look back and smile. And at that moment, our long race, uphill and downhill, was all worth it. On behalf of the class officers, we hope you have enjoyed our look back at the time in Shrewsbury. Congratulations, class of 2018. Please give yourselves one last round of applause. To our families and friends, thank you for joining us for the evening. As the seniors process out of Mechanics Hall, I ask parents, family members, and friends to please follow us. Thank you, and good night.